Hey everybody, welcome to this next video episode for myViewBoard Classroom. Today we're going to take a look at a live lesson scenario where I'm going to walk you through the preparation phase of creating a real lesson inside myViewBoard Classroom. For today's session, we're actually going to use the new Microsoft Edge browser, so you'll get to see a little bit of how that looks. So without further ado, let's dive in and get started. Okay, so first things first, let's load up our browser. This is the new Microsoft Edge browser. It's very, very similar to Google Chrome. So if you haven't already tried it, I do recommend you download and install it because you can use this alongside Google Chrome for myViewBoard Classroom as well. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm actually going to use Google for Education, Google G Suite login for myViewBoard. So normally you may be logging in with your employee account, your ViewSonic Europe or viewsonic.com email address. I actually want to sign in with my G Suite account. So this is the gedu-demo-viewsonic.com email address. If you don't already have this, drop a comment on the video and I can get you set up with an account so that you can actually use the G Suite demo account that we have. And the reason I'm using the Google demo account is because I want to have access to Google Classroom as well as my Google Drive. Okay, so once you're inside the myViewBoard homepage, the web portal, there's a couple of things that we just want to double check before we get started. And that's going to be your cloud drives and your bindings. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the follow me icon at the top. Looks like this little stick man. If I click on that, this will take me to the settings. And then I just want to go over to cloud integrations and just double check that I've got everything set up that I want. So the things to pay attention to here is your Google Drive, make sure that that is binded. And then also down the bottom here, your Google Classroom. Now remember that you have to be on the gedu-demo-viewsonic.com email address for all of this to work. So whatever you sign in with is the same as what you're going to bind to your classroom, for example. So just be aware of that when you first set up these accounts. Make sure everything is binded correctly. Okay, so everything looks good. Everything is connected as we need it to be. The next thing that I'm going to do is actually take a look at our background settings. So if you click on the background icon here, now you see it's asking to connect to the correct account. So I'm just going to choose the gedu-demo-viewsonic.com account again, just to make sure that's correctly connected. And as you can see here, it's actually saying that my background is in Google Drive. So if I click on the Google Drive button, this will take me to sign in to my G Suite Google Drive. So this Google Drive is different from your normal Google Drive, your personal Google Drive, or your ViewSonic Europe Google Drive. It's a specific one for G Suite. So whatever you have used in the past will be different in this drive. You have to set this up on its own. Okay, so now we're in the G Suite background folder in my Google Drive. What I'm actually going to do is import some background images that I want to use in my lesson. So the simplest way to do this is actually to use drag and drop. So I'm just going to go over to my computer folders and find the actual background images that I want to bring in. And these are stored here as these JPEG files. So I want these to be available so that I can actually apply them as a background to some of my slides. So this is a great way to prepare the content that you're going to use for your class ahead of the class session, so that you've got time to actually prepare it and have those resources available. So I'm just going to drag and drop these into Google Drive and they're going to upload. And these will be available when I actually sign into myViewBoard Classroom So they're the backgrounds. I'm also going to have a look at bringing in some other content, such as PDF worksheets, which is some of the ones that we've got here at the top. So I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to upload a few more pieces of content into Google Drive so that when I go to my magic box, all of the content that I need access to will be available for me to access in the Google Drive. Okay, I'm just going to add this folder as well. Okay, so the really important step is to get your content into the correct Google Drive, into your background folders or your standard folders so that all the content is ready and prepared for when you create your myViewBoard Classroom session. Okay, so I'm now happy that I have all of the content that I need available in my Google Drive for G Suite. So let's go back to myViewBoard and let's go back to the home page. So what I'm now going to do is actually create my myViewBoard Classroom session by launching Classroom. So I'm just going to click on this icon here. Okay, so now that we're inside myViewBoard Classroom, we can just do a quick double check to see that our Google Drive is available. And as you can see, here's my worksheets and my episode 2 documents that I just uploaded. So they're available as well as the JPEGs. And what I also did was upload the background images to the background folder. So if we go down to this background icon here and just click on this, we have 3 options here. So we can choose a solid color as our background. We can press our follow me icon here, which is going to connect to my Google Drive and show me those backgrounds that we previously uploaded. Or we have options to bring in our myViewBoard original content backgrounds as well. So this is what the 3 icons do here. We also have the option to turn on and off the grid, as well as to add the confidential watermark. So these are the background options that you have to choose from. Now for this lesson, it's actually going to be a biology refresher lesson for my students. So what I'm going to do is actually use my backgrounds that I've actually imported to start the lesson. So this is the one that I want to bring in for the first slide. And now it's got a couple of options. So do you want to apply this to the huddle group or do you want to apply this to the page? So for me, at the moment, I only want to apply this to the page because this is my teacher's presentation. It's my information slide. So if I click apply, this is now going to basically apply this as a background image. And now this is completely fixed onto the canvas. I cannot edit or change it. It now gives me the option to annotate over this. And I can do this across multiple pages. Okay, so I'm happy with my first slide. Let's add some more content. So to add another page, what you need to do is click on this little downward arrow here on the page selector, and this will give you the option to add a second page. So this lesson's all about the human body, and actually what I want this to be is a refresher lesson on basically the different systems of the body. So I'm going to create a little graphic here by searching Google Images for human body systems. This is going to try and find an image that represents the different systems in the human body. So this is a bit of a refresher for our students. Just going to move this into position so that we've got everything on screen, and I'm going to press the padlock button to lock this in place. So at this point I can discuss a little bit about the human body systems, and then we can move on to maybe watch a video. So after we've had a bit of a discussion, after we've been through the topic, let's go to YouTube and search for something similar. And here we have a video from National Geographic. So I'm just going to drag this to the canvas and resize this. And then what we can do during our live session is actually get the students to go ahead and watch this video before we move on to the next part of the presentation. So for my second kind of bit of information, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail with the students on these different systems and maybe ask some questions. So what I've prepared here is actually some other information slides that allow me to bring a bit of an overview of all the different systems in the body. Okay, so this is going to be another information slide. And then there's one more that I'm going to put together. Okay, so this now gives me 5 different presentation slides so that when I do my live lesson with the students, we can follow along in sequence and I can navigate each page so it updates the students' displays. So the students will follow along as I navigate through the pages. So what I might want to do next is actually create an activity for the students to participate in. So to do this, what I'm going to do first is create an instruction slide that I can basically advise the students what they're going to do for the activity and just give them some advice and guidance before we put them into groups for them to do their activity. So what I'm going to do here is actually bring one of my worksheets in as a PDF. So if I go to Google Drive here and click on this little icon, this will allow me to import my PDF as a new page. Okay, so that's now page number 7. And if I click this and press the padlock, it allows me to move it around and I can then resize it. And then that gives me space to add another worksheet on. So I've got one in the clipboard already. So I'm just going to press on the paste button here. This is my second worksheet. So there's 2 different worksheets that I'm going to provide. And depending on which group the students are in, they will get one of these worksheets. So this is the slide where I provide the instructions to the students before I put them into their groups. So as we've seen before, there's actually different displays. So we're using the main presentation display at the moment, which is what the students will follow along with as I guide them through the presentation. But what I need to do here is actually assign the first worksheet into group 1. So all I will do here is go into my Google Drive and actually find that worksheet that I want to use for group 1. And I can bring this across so that this is prepared and ready so that when I switch to the huddle modes, the worksheet is available for anyone in group 1. Okay, so that's group number 1. You'll see here we've now got group 1 ready. If I go to group 2, I'm going to do something very similar, just bring in the worksheet that I want to use, which is this one here. Okay, let's just resize that as we need it. And then what will happen is when I get to slide 7, I actually have my instructions available, and then I can really quickly switch the students into their group and they will only see and be able to access the worksheet that they're assigned to. So this is almost a differentiation exercise here where I've got different groups working on different worksheets at different levels basically. Okay, so we have our lesson content ready. If I just go back to the main page, we can just scroll through and check everything loads up correctly. So I'm pretty happy that we have everything that we need at the moment. So the next final step really is to actually save this. So I'm going to press on the file icon here, go to my Google Drive, and I'm actually going to save this as Human Body Systems. And then that's now ready for me to load up and start my live session when it's time to do so. So this is a great way to pre-prepare your materials, get everything ready before your live lesson. And what we'll do in the next video is actually do the live part of this lesson where we have some participation from Michael and Roderick in the success team. They will play our students, and then you'll be able to see how this lesson is actually delivered as we present and participate with myViewBoard Classroom. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and any comments, just drop those on the comments on the video and I'll get back to you. Thanks very much. See you next time.